أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم واخشوا يوما لا يجزي والد عن ولده ولا مولود هو جاز عن ولده شيئا إن وعد الله حق إن وعد الله حق فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور.
الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله علي ولي الله لا إله إلا الله لا.
Now for Hanoot. After Ghusl Mayyat is done, the next ritual is called Tahnit or applying the Hanoot. Hanoot, literally it means perfuming the, let me mention it, I must have it here, perfuming the 7 parts of the deceased using the camphor. The crushed camphor that you have already used for making the water of kafur. Those camphor, you crush a bit of it, usually we keep it in a jar or something. Do I need to rub it on the parts? Not necessarily. I mentioned this, that not necessarily, because there are cases that, as I said, some diseases are brought to you with many complication, or the body is swollen or anything, that this poor ghassal really doesn't feel comfortable to touch the body. It's very difficult to touch the body or something. You don't have to touch it. Just if this is my forehead and you have the camphor crush, just pour it on my forehead a little bit, that's it. Or wear the gloves. Is it okay to wear the gloves? This part, yeah. Wear the gloves, and with the gloves you can wipe it. So this is 7 parts. The 7 parts are the forehead, palms of the hands, the parts, subhanallah, masajid al-sab'a, you know, the 7 parts that we are doing the sajda are the parts that you are perfuming them. Forehead, palms, knees, the toes, these are the wajib part, but more than that is mustahab, as I will mention. After ghusl or tayammum is done, applying hanoot is obligatory. It's not mustahab, it's wajib. Tahnid is wajib, whether the mayyat is an adult or a child. So that means that even a 4 months baby, a fetus 4 months old, that you are doing the ghusl, still you have to do this tahnid or applying the hanoot as well. It is mustahab to begin with the forehead. But after the forehead, which part? There is no restriction, and there is nothing is mentioned about that. Naturally, we are used to start from the the hands, the palms, and with the right, and then the left palm, and then you go to the knees and go down. But as far as the recommendation, instruction that we have, start with the forehead, the rest, however you want to do. It is mustahab to apply the hanoot on the tip of the nose, So wajib was 7 parts. Now I'm going to the mustahab part of it. As I promised you, I'm separating wajib acts from the mustahab acts. It is mustahab to apply the hanoot on the tip of the nose, joints, chest, under the throat, and the soles of the feet. A little bit of hanoot apply on these other parts as well. It is mustahab also to mix a little turbat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam with hanoot. However, the amount of turbat should not exceed the amount of hanoot. A little bit, some particles of turbat, if you have a jar or glass something, so if you have turbat, just some drops of turbat of Imam Hussein, mix it with the hanoot that you have, that is still the hanoot is the most of it is hanoot, and then you can apply it on the parts. And there is no problem, it's not disrespect or anything, because the mayyit has been already washed. It is mustahab to put some turba of Imam Hussein inside the kafan as well as inside the grave. I checked the riwayat thoroughly on this issue because I had this concern last night. I saw that they are putting some turbat on the eyes and making like a necklace, things made of the turbat of Imam Hussein. Necklace, where is necklace? Necklace or bracelets or things like that. This is something, it's more of a tradition, to be honest with you. There is no hadith to tell you have to make a bracelet like this for the mayyit, but nothing wrong with that. Once the mayyit is washed and you know that there is no bleeding coming to make the turbat najas, it is okay. The recommendation that Imam Reza alayhi salam and other Imams of Ahlul Bayt have mentioned is that make sure that inside the kafan, it's mustahab, not that make sure, it's mustahab to have some turbat inside the kafan. However you like to do it, your choice. And also some turbat inside the grave as well. Both are mustahab to do. Again, sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now we go to putting on the shroud or takfeen. Takfeen, it means the kafan that we cover the body of the mayyit. Takfeen does not require intention of nearness to Allah, remember, although it is better and even better to be in the state of wudu. Remember, we mentioned that amal of funeral, some of them requires intention of ghurbat, like salat, like ghus, but takfeen, I mentioned this just in case it was a situation that no Muslim brother was available, someone else, you could get them to come and help for the takfeen, no problem, give them that job. Before the takfeen, cotton is put into any opening of the body to prevent discharge and soiling on the kafan. I mentioned that last night as we were after the washing. I suggest that you add this to your practice. You have cotton with a bit of coffin, cover the nose, put them inside the nose, the mouth, also cover the mouth, perhaps even the ears possible as well. And for the private parts, because we use the nappies, as I said, that is already done. The reason for that is sometimes before you cover or while we are opening and the face of the mayyit for the family to come and pay the last respect or anything, sometimes some liquid or something, some discharge comes from the mouth and people are freaking, is this najas, tahir, what is it, blood, water? If you have put this cotton to the holes as is recommended to do that, then nothing inshallah will come out and you don't need to worry about the kafan becomes najas. Seal the private parts with an adult nappy or any cloth. Kafan should be definitely tahir until the burial is finished. As far as we know, the kafan must be tahir. So if we notice, even when we are laying down the body in the grave, if I see that all of a sudden there is a blood somewhere, if it's possible to cut it, cut it. If it's not disturbed, like the body is still covered, easily cut that part, put it aside. But if it's too much blood, there has been cases that we had to take the body out again, completely again wash and everything and do the takfeen. Actually washing, if it's after the ghusl, there is no need to do ghusl mayyit again, but the kafan has to be done again. Now, obligatory pieces of kafan. Pieces of kafan consist of two parts. Obligatory parts, recommended ones. I separate them from each other to know which part is wajib, which part is mustahab. The wajib part consists of three pieces, mainly covering torso to the knees or even lower. In Arabic, it's called me'zar. The obligatory part actually is starting from belly button to the knees. But normally we take it a bit longer, from like the chest usually to the all the way down. The second part covering from the shoulders to the feet, that is called qamis. And the third part covering from above the head to below the feet. Notice, above the head, below the feet. We deliberately make it a bit longer because like a sandwich, when we are wrapping it later on, there has to be enough space for it. Sorry to use this example. Now you are not going to have sandwich anymore. Mustahab pieces of a kafan. That was wajib pieces. Mustahab pieces also are the following. Turban for men, just make a last night I told them that if I die here and you make a proper turban, you see my turban, don't just wrap something simple. Make a turban like you are wrapping around the forehead, and the extra parts of it comes and you put it on the chest. And for the ladies, a scarf for the ladies. Bord Yamani or Yemeni, chador, I don't know whether you call it chador or whatever that you refer to it, for the ladies, or aba for men, or their ihram. It is mustahab, the chador that the lady was using usually for prayer. It's good if the family bring that chador, because that chador that she's been praying on, it's blessed already. Make sure after the lady is covered with the kafan, put that chador, bury her with the last chador of her namaz. For brothers, it's mustahab to wear the aba. If someone has been wearing an aba that they've been praying, keep that aba. Inshallah, after 125 years that you die, tell them that, put that my aba on me. You know the story of Bibi Khadija Salamullah alayha. Bord Yemeni is very much recommended. I don't want to make you feel that you need to get to the luxury and spend a lot of things on it. But the Imams of Ahlul Bayt, number one, they have been writing in their will and have been like putting their kafan aside and everything. And especially for Bord Yemeni, give either themselves or getting someone to write on the board. I'll mention Dua, Joshan and all the rest of it, all mustahabat that needs to be done. Prepare them. It's good to have your, what we call it, libas al-akhirah. You have your clothing of things. We have put it aside. If there is any khums due on it, have paid the khums and everything. I'm ready, Ya Allah. On the one hand, my will is ready, my kafan and everything is ready. And jaridatain, 2 branches of palm or any green tree. Starting with the palm tree, if not pomegranate, if not cedar, any of them that is possible. As far as it's a green branch of tree, that's fine. There are so many riwayat about this that is mustahab. Even Sunnis, they have it, although unfortunately they come up, Wahhabis especially, with some new explanation. As usual, it seems that everywhere they see that there's a similarity with the Shia, they try to distance themselves, even at the cost of ignoring the hadith of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Someone asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, what is the benefit of these 2 pieces of branches of tree to bury with the mayyit, that even if he forgot to put it on the body, as I say, later on put it inside the grave before the grave is covered. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, Baba, God is looking for an excuse to forgive us. Why don't you give him an excuse? God says that, the Prophet says that, and there is a story to that at the time of the Holy Prophet. So far as this branch of tree is green, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has lifted the punishment from that disease. Give excuse to God. How much does it cost you? Why? No, I don't understand the philosophy behind it. It's nonsensical. God says, all right, nonsensical. You write in your will, I don't want this jaridatan. And God says, I'll treat you according to your senses. Method of shrouding a deceased. Okay, quickly we go through that. Thank you for your patience. Cut and prepare 5 cotton material strips to secure the kafan. Wrap the wrist, knees, shoulders, and 2 pieces for the 2 ends of the kafan. So we need 5 strips. 3 of them after the kafan is complete, because we need to wrap on the chest, the middle of the body, and the feet. And the other 2, I have to be careful not to be far from this. And the other 2 we need it later on for remember the last 2 ends of the longer kafan. Place the pieces of the kafan on the strips. I appreciate the funeral committee. I'm speaking the obvious for them, but this is not only for you. For others, we want them to understand and join as well. The longest must be laid first, then the qamis, and finally the shortest piece. As you are putting it on that place where you are going to put the mayyit, then the way that we put the longest one comes first, and then the middle one, and then the shortest one, then the nappy, and then we bring the body. And underneath of it is, of course, the strips. The first step, shroud the deceased with the shortest piece naturally. This is after the nappy is put. It is mustahab to place on jarida on the right side of the inner body of the deceased. So if I'm the mayyit, the right side, the first part, before we close the first part, they put the jarida here on my right side, and then the first piece will be put. I'm not sure if I have it here, or maybe inshallah I'll mention. It's mustahab on the jarida, if possible, to write the name of the deceased and a bit of shahadatan or things like that, as much as is possible. Step 2, shroud the deceased with the qamis. Qamis is the middle one. Remember, from the shoulder all the way down. Make a horizontal or vertical cut so to easily put the qamis through the deceased head. This is the theory. Inshallah, when we go for the practical, you will see it easily how it is done, so that we can put it through the head easy. Make a turban for men or a scarf for ladies and put the sides on the chest, as I said. Place the second piece of jarida on the left side of the deceased. The second part, we put it after the third part of the kafan is there. So both jarida are under the kafan. The first one is between the body and the first piece of kafan. The second jarida is between the second piece of kafan and the third piece of kafan. And the third step, shroud the deceased with the longest piece and wrap the two ends of the kafan with 2 cotton material strips provided. What else? Wrap the wrists, the knees, and the shoulders with cotton material strips. When you are wrapping it, be very careful. Ensure that the strips are tied in a way that they can be easily opened in the grave. We need them later on. Once we put the mayyit inside the grave, we need to undo the ties. So don't tie it so difficult that we have to cut it. Place the deceased in a casket or coffin. Cover the deceased with 1 or 2 board Yamani, chador or abba that we have said already. You have the joshan and other things. Further mustahab acts of takfeen to finish, inshallah. We are almost there. It is recommended to write the deceased name, the testimony of death, dua joshan kabir, or any part of the Quran on board Yamani, or on the piece of fabric that you have already provided, that you cover after the kafan is done. You cover the body with it. Especially dua joshan is very much recommended. There are so many riwayat about dua joshan kabir. The texture of the fabric used for the shroud should not be thin and sheer. It is recommended to be white and made of cotton. The purpose of that is that the first piece that you put, or if you put it around your body, it should not be see-through. Normally, if it's the cotton, it is not thin. It is normally makruh to perfume the kafan. However, applying camphor is different. So some people, for us, the Shia, we don't use any artificial perfume or anything. Camphor, that is hanoot that we apply, it does the job of perfuming the mayyit. It is mustahab to have prepared our kafan in advance, as I said. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله